Then is social group. Then unit 3 is social identity and movements. Then unit 4 is social change in Indian context. First you join Sarmishta Priyadarshini.
Yes, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank
Listen,
you.
Sarmishta.
ଆଜ୍ଞା
First unit. Excuse me. କଣ କହୁଛ?
ନାଇଁ ଶୁଭିଲାନି।
ମୁଁ କହିଲି ଫାଷ୍ଟ ଜଏନ୍ କରିଛ ଫାଷ୍ଟ ଶୁଣ society and culture.
ଆଜ୍ଞା
Society in this block provides society and culture. First is concept of society. First unit is concept of society and culture. Second unit is social group. Then third unit is social identity and movements. Then fourth unit is social change in Indian context. First is concept of society and culture. First you say what is society? What is society in your view? Sarmishta, then the term society and culture is used today as a scientific concept by most of the social sciences. Its most comprehensive definition is provided in anthropology. First is society and culture is used in a scientific way. Society and culture nowadays used in a scientific way. Then every society has a culture. You know, every society has a culture. How simple that culture may be, culture is shared. The members of every society share a common culture. So every society has a culture. Then the two concepts society and culture are closely related and sometimes interchangeably. Society and culture is closely related, very much integrated or closely related. First is the concept of society. First, first we read about the concept of society. The word society is used to designate institutions. First, society means samaj. Samajଟାକୁ ଆମେ designate କରୁଛେ, that is the institutions. Institutions means various groups or institutions like Arya Samaj or Brahmo Samaj. They are the various societies. Or like our Hindu society, that is the example of society. The term is used in a different sense. Society is used in a different sense. The term society refers not just to a group of people but to a complex pattern of norms of interaction that exist among them. In terms of common sense, society is understood as a tangible object, whereas in sociology and anthropology it refers to intangible. Tangible means tangible means real object, or society provides tangible objects. Then the meaning and definition of society. First we study the meaning and definition of society. The roots of the term society can be traced to the Latin word socius. First, society comes from the Latin word socius, which means companionship or friendship. Society means companionship or friendship. George Simmel is the eminent sociologist, has stated that the element of sociability or companionship which defines the true essence of society. The element of sociability. Sociability means society provides the civilization, or companionship means group or leadership or group, that is the elements of society. Then Aristotle stated centuries ago, man is a social animal. You know, man is a social animal. It brings into the focus that man always lives in the company of other people. Man always lived within the groups. ସବୁବେଳେ ମନୁଷ୍ୟ ଗୋଟେ ଗ୍ରୁପ ବା ଦଳରେ ରୁହେ. Society has become an essential condition for human life to continue. Society provides a essential condition for human life. Some society provides some conditions for maintaining the human life or continue the human life. Then Auguste Comte viewed society as a social organism possessing a harmony of structure and function. Auguste Comte said that society has some structure and also some function. Emile Durkheim, another social thinker or another social anthropologist, said that society as a reality in its own right. Society as a reality means realitical phenomenon. Means really society is a right. Barsa you join. Then for Talcott person, society is a total complex of human relationship. Society is a total complex of human relationship. Means society is based on complex relationships. Complex means jatila, means complicated, simple to complicated relationship. Then G.H. Mead said that society as an exchange of gestures which involves the use of symbols. Means society provides the gestures. Gestures means body languages, the, in which the individuals are used the symbols. By the symbols, we can talk with others or communicate with others. So, Mead said that society provides the symbols. Then, Maurice Ginsburg defines society as a collection of individuals united by certain relations. Society is based on certain relations. Means समाज केतेगुड़े रिलेशन उपरे प्रतिष्ठित or who differ from them in behavior. जोठी की behavior गुड़ा different and different behaviors exist. Likewise, various authors said their views about the society. Then society is divided into two types, the according to the base of functional definition and the structural definition. From the functional point of view, society is defined as a complex of groups in reciprocal relationships. Reciprocal means exchange relationship, which is based on complex groups. Society is based on marriage, family, kinship, marriage. Um, First is marriage, then after marriage, family exists. Then in the family there are two sides of relationship creates by the men side and women side. These relationships are a reciprocal relationship means exchange relationship. like Likewise husband relation and wife's relation, they are the reciprocal relations, interacting upon one another. In next, from the structural point of view, society is the total social heritage of folkways, mores, and institutions of habits, sentiments. In the structural point of view, we analyze about the folkways and mores means societal values. What is the qualitative values or qualitative data? Habits, personal habits, sentiments, or knowledge, or ideals. These are the points of structural view. Then the definition of society. Another social thinkers or social anthropologists said about the structural point of view. They are Ginsberg, Guidings, Kulle, Kuber. Then the structural after the structural point of view, the functional point of view. In the functional point of view, there are various authors such as MacIver, Parsons, Lapire, Kulle, and Leacock. Then the definition of society has undergone little variation from the standpoint of classical and modern scholars. Simply, we define society as a group of people who share a common culture. Society has a common culture, occupy a particular territorial area. Society means it provides a common culture. A certain culture को provide करे society. जोटी particular area रे. Suppose our Hindu culture, like our Hindu culture or Western culture, there are different cultures provides in a society. Then by extension, society denotes the people of a region. Society means the people of a region or a area or a country or a world, then taken as whole. Then characteristics of society. According to MacIver, society is a web of social relationships which may be of several types. Society is a web of social relationships. Society provides some relationships. Society means समाज କେତେ ଗୁଡ଼ିଏ ରିଲେସନ୍ और ସମ୍ପର୍କକୁ ନେଇକି ଗଠିତ. ଫାଷ୍ଟ ଦ ଫ୍ୟାମିଲି, ଫାଷ୍ଟ ପଏଣ୍ଟ ଇଜ୍ ଦ ଫ୍ୟାମିଲି. ପରିବାର ହେଉଛି ଫାଷ୍ଟ. Then family alone is said to have a many relationship based on age, sex, gender, generation. Society first provides the age, then sex, gender, generations. Outside the family, there is no limit to the number of possible relationships. Then society means likeness. Therefore, likeness is an essential prerequisite of society. Likeness means ଏକାଗ୍ରତା. Society ଭିତରେ ଯୋଉ ଏକାଗ୍ରତାଟା ଥାଏ. The sense of likeness was focused in early society on kinship. First, you know the family, then after family, the kinship provides in the society. Kinship means certain type of relationship. Relationship is based on intimacy, association, etc. Then society also implies difference, but this sense of likeness does not exclude diversity. Society has some likeness and also some differences or diversities or variation. The diversities are there are different types of family are exist in the society, such as nucleus family, then joint family, then extended family. Nucleus family means father, mother, and their children. Joint family means father's father, mother, then father, mother, grandfather, grandmother, then father, mother, and their children. And also the extended family relates to or provides the father, mother, and father's brother, their children, and also father, mother, and their children. There are various types of families. So it belongs to or it bases on the various differences. In the family, there are various differences. So there are various characteristic points which are based on the family. They are the important points. Similarities, differences, then interdependence, then cooperation. Interdependence means in the family, the members depend upon each one and every people. That is the biological relationship and social relationship. Interdependence in the family relates to the biological relationship. Biological relationship means the relationship between husband and wife. Then social relationship means the relationship between father, mother, and their children, and also provides educational relationship, then the economic relationship, etc. Then next point is cooperation. Cooperation is the main point in the family and also provides in the society. The members in social institutions cooperate with one another to live happily and joyfully. In the family, there are many people are lived, and also family is the social institution. And also in the educational institution, there are many people such as um, teachers and students are provided in the educational institutions. Suppose in the school colleges, the teachers' relationship with the students provide the educational relationship. So in the society, there are various relationships, educational relationship, then economic relationship, social relationship in the family. And society is not just a mere agency for the comfort of the beings, but it is the whole system of social relationship. Society is based on the social relationship. Social relationship mother and child provides in the society, or the attitude of the parents towards their children, they are provided in the society. Then Pradimna, you join. Then listen, all societies involve a certain level of association, a level closure and lesser complex than an organism. Like an organism, a society also is based on a system of relation. Like an organism based on various parts like hand, leg, etc. Then bone, various parts like organism, a society is also based on various relations or various organizations. Educational organization, economic organization, then religious organization. Suppose we go to the temple. In the temple, there are various peoples are present in this place. That is a religious organization. Then the concept of culture. Any doubt in the society? Then the concept of culture. Culture is a word all of us use in our day to day activities or parlance. Culture is used in the day to day activities. In every day we say anything, or we behave anything, or behave in a particular way, or we eat anything. That is that is culture. That everything are included under culture. Then meaning and definition of culture. Culture is universal. Universal means universal means it exists in total universe. Universe means in the world. Culture exists in all over the world. It may be simple or complex, but culture provides in anywhere or everywhere. Likewise, every human being is cultured, and culture is an attribute of the genus Homo. Every human being is based on the cultural parts. Genus Homo. Homo means species, means man or human, provides the attributes of culture. Culture is the design for living. Culture is the design for living. ମାନେ ଆମେ ଯାହା କିଛି ସୋସାଇଟିରେ ବାସ କରୁଛେ, ଯାହା କିଛି ୟୁଜ୍ କରୁଛେ, ଖାଉଛେ, ପିଉଛେ, ଗୋଟେ ନିର୍ଦ୍ଦିଷ୍ଟ ଢଙ୍ଗରେ, that is the living or design of living. It is the basis of human life. Culture is also based on the biological things. Then culture, the characteristics of culture provides. Culture is a historically created design for living. First, culture is historically created. Generation after generation, new things are added to it, and this is accountable for the development and change in its culture. Culture is not constant, it is changing from generation to generation. Culture କେବେ ହେଲେ constant ବା ନିର୍ଦ୍ଦିଷ୍ଟ ନୁହେଁ, ଏଟା change ହୁଏ, ପ୍ରତି generation by change ହୁଏ, but change ହେଲେ ବି ଏଟା continue କରେ. Then culture is dynamic. Dynamic means changing, and dynamic, not only dynamic but also it it is already existing. Only new items are added the towards the old culture. Then next thing is culture is unique to the human species. Culture is unique for the human species. Culture ସମସ୍ତଙ୍କ ପାଖେ, animal ମାନଙ୍କ ପାଖେ culture ନଥାଏ. Only culture is provided for human species. No species has ability like human beings in its complexity. Means the unique things are to learn. ଆମେ ଯାହା କିଛି learn କରୁଛେ society ରୁ, to communicate କରୁଛେ, ଗୋଟେ specific way of behave, specific behave କରୁଛେ, ଯାହା କିଛି ବ୍ୟବହାର କି learning କି communicate language, ଯୋଉ language ରେ କଥାବାର୍ତ୍ତା କରୁଛେ, that is culture. That is the process of culture. Culture has moral force which serves as a guide for human action. Then culture is non-genetic. Culture is social, and it is not genetic. Genetically it is not transferred. It is only social thing. Culture is a product of social learning rather than biological heredity. It cannot be inherited by offspring from parents. It is only transferred from generation to generation by the process of behavior, by the process of art, moral, etc. But it can be transmitted socially from parents to children. Culture କେବଳ social way ରେ, ସାମାଜିକ ଭାବେ ଏଟା parents ଙ୍କ ପାଖରୁ children ଙ୍କ ପାଖକୁ transfer ହୁଏ. Then culture has unity as well as diversity. All humans have culture. Culture unity ଥାଏ means ଏକାଗ୍ରତା, some special characteristics which are common in culture, but some other characteristics are also different from one culture to another culture. Culture provides in any society, in our Hindu society, or in total in Indian society, or in Western society, any place culture exists. But culture provides in the Indian society and culture provides in the Western society is totally different. Their dress pattern and our dress pattern and our language, Indian language, Western language is totally different. So culture has unity like diversity, and also exists diversity. Then culture is the basic concept of anthropology and is central to all the sub branches of anthropology. Culture is the central part of anthropology. Anthropologists have been discussing the definitions of culture since the origin of the discipline in the 19th century. The 19th century, culture provides a special part of anthropology, and the special importance gives to culture in 19th century. First, the pioneer of cultural anthropology or culture is provided the definition by E.B. Taylor. E.B. Taylor in his book Primitive Culture in 1871 gives his view that culture or civilization is that complex whole which includes knowledge, belief, art, morals, law, custom, and any other capabilities and habits acquired by man as a member of society. Culture ଟା provide करे कौन? Culture or civilization provides करे knowledge, ज्ञान, belief, विश्वास, art, moral, anything art in the life. Moral means values, ideas, laws, customs, anything provides in the society are culture. Then elements of culture. Elements of culture describes the various points such as values, norms, culture traits. Values means what is considered as good, proper, and indesirable or bad, improper, or indesirable in a culture. Means good values or good thing is different from bad thing. That is called value. It influences people's behavior. Then norms. Norms refers to a standard pattern of behavior that is accepted by a society. Norms provides the standard pattern of behavior accepted by a society. Means a series of behavior ନିର୍ଦ୍ଦିଷ୍ଟ ବ୍ୟବହାର ଯୋଉଟାକି ଆମର ସୋସାଇଟିରେ ଆଡପ୍ଟ କରାଯାଏ or accept କରାଯାଏ. Norms may differ from society to society. Generally, there are two types of norms, formal norms and informal norms. Formal means which are written down, then informal means which are followed or the behavior which described in an informal way. Then culture traits. Culture trait is the smallest or simple identifiable unity that is called culture trait. Smallest unit of total culture is called culture trait. Suppose smallest unit means, suppose in the Marwadi society, their dress pattern or their in modern time, the dress pattern is different. But in traditional time, their wearing of clothes or sarees is have different look. So it is the smallest unit which is counted from the um, Marwadi society. Their clothing pattern is the smallest identifiable unity of the total Marwadi culture. Then Marwadi culture or in total Hindu culture, their wearing dress pattern is it's said as culture trait. Then that is the doubt about culture, elements of culture. Pradimna, Pradimna, characteristics or attributes of culture. The classical definition of culture by Taylor was a turning point in the theoretical interpretations of culture, which attracted the attention of various scholars. First, Taylor gave his idea about the classical definition of culture. First, Taylor କହିଛନ୍ତି, culture is refers to three stages: savagery, barbarism, civilization. There are three stages provides in the culture. Then after Tyler, Malinowski, Radcliffe Brown, all are gave their view about the culture which is related to the social structure. ମାନେ କଲଚର ସଂସ୍କୃତିଟା ସାମାଜିକ ଗଠନ ସହିତ ରିଲେଟେଡ୍ ବା ରିଲେଟ୍ କରାଯାଏ. Then, then the characteristics of culture is socially learned. କଲଚର ଇଜ୍ ସୋସିଆଲି ଲର୍ଣ୍ଣ. ସାମାଜିକ ଭାବେ କଲଚରଟାକୁ ଲର୍ଣ୍ଣ କରାଯାଏ ବା ଶିକ୍ଷା କରାଯାଏ. ସଂସ୍କୃତିଟାକୁ ସାମାଜିକ ଭାବେ ଶିକ୍ଷା କରାଯାଏ. Culture is a natural outgrowth of the social interactions that constitute human groups, whether in societies or organizations. Whenever and wherever people come together over time, culture develops. Whenever, wherever, ଯେତେବେଳେ ହଉ କି ଯେଉଁଠାରେ କଲଚର ସବୁଠି ଡେଭଲପ୍ କରେ ଓଭର ଟାଇମ୍, ସମୟ ଅନୁସାରେ ଏଇଟା ଡେଭଲପ୍ କରିଥାଏ ବା ବୃଦ୍ଧି ହେଇଥାଏ. ଆଇଦର କିଛିଟା ଥିଙ୍ଗ ଆଡ୍ ହୁଏ, that is culture complex. Culture is learned from our parents. Suppose in the family, first we learn anything from our parents, then we go to school, then anything learned from our teachers. That is culture. Anything learned from our parents and surroundings and friends, relatives, and from our teachers and from older peoples, that is called enculturation or socially learned. Then culture is symbolic. Symbolic means culture is based on symbol. Symbol means any symbol or language which is used in structure of the language or which is used for communication. କଲଚର ମେନ୍ କରି ସଂସ୍କୃତିଟା ସିମ୍ବଲ ମିନ୍ସ କିଛିଟା ଚିହ୍ନ ଅର୍ ୱାର୍ଡ, ସିମ୍ବଲ ଅର୍ ୱାର୍ଡ ଉପରେ ପ୍ରତିଷ୍ଠିତ, ଯୋଉଟାକି ସିମ୍ବଲକୁ ନେଇକି ଲାଙ୍ଗୁଏଜ କ୍ରିଏଟ୍ ହୁଏ. ୱି ୟୁଜ୍ ଫାଷ୍ଟ ଲାଙ୍ଗୁଏଜ ଯୋଉଟା ଭାଷା ଆମେ ୟୁଜ୍ କରୁ, ଲାଙ୍ଗୁଏଜ ଇଜ୍ ୟୁଜ୍ ଟୁ ହେଲ୍ପ ଫର୍ କମ୍ୟୁନିକେଟିଂ with peoples in the society. So culture is symbolic, and culture use the symbols or words, objects, gestures, sounds, or images. Gestures means body languages. Sounds means phonetic or phonemic sound. Sound from our tongue, that is called culture. Or image or object, any object means ଯେକୌଣସି ଜିନିଷ, that is called culture. Then culture is integrated. Culture is integrated. Elements or traits that make up a culture are not just a random assortment of customs, but are mostly adjusted to or consistent with one another. Culture is integrated means integrating. କଲଚରଟା ସବୁବେଳେ ବାଇଣ୍ଡିଙ୍ଗ ହେଇକି ଥାଏ, ମାନେ ବନ୍ଧା ହେଇକି କଲଚର ଇଣ୍ଟିଗ୍ରେଟ୍ ବା ଏକତ୍ରିତ ହେଇକି ଥାଏ। ଦ ଟ୍ରେଡ୍ସ ମିନ୍ସ ସ୍ମଲେଷ୍ଟ ୟୁନିଟ୍, ଗୋଟେ ଛୋଟିଆ ବଡ଼ କଲଚର ଗୋଟେ ଛୋଟିଆ ପାର୍ଟ। ଟ୍ରେଡ୍ ମିନ୍ସ ପାର୍ଟ। ଟ୍ରେଡ୍ସ ଅଫ୍ ଏ କଲଚର ଆର୍ ଆଟିଚ୍ୟୁଡ। ଛୋଟିଆ ପାର୍ଟ କଲଚର କ'ଣ ନା ଆଟିଚ୍ୟୁଡ। ଆଟିଚ୍ୟୁଡ ଟୁୱାର୍ଡସ୍ our family or our teachers or values, or ideals or knowledges, they are anything are integrated for culture। ସମସ୍ତେ ଏକତ୍ରିତ ହେଇକି ଥାନ୍ତି କଲଚର ପାଇଁ ବା ସଂସ୍କୃତିକୁ ଏକ୍ସପ୍ରେସ୍ କରିବା ପାଇଁ। କଲଚର ଇଜ୍ ଆଡାପ୍ଟିଭ ଆଣ୍ଡ ମାଲ ଆଡାପ୍ଟିଭ। You know, culture is adaptive. Adaptive means when anything we adapt from the society, that is called culture। ଆମେ ଯାହା କିଛି ଶିଖୁଛେ ସୋସାଇଟି ବା ସମାଜ ଯୋଗୁଁ ଆମେ ଶିଖୁଛେ, that is called adaptive। That may be practically or maybe or any ecological condition, or it may be different। Then culture is all encompassing. Culture encompasses all aspects which affect people in their everyday lives. Culture comprises countless material and non-material aspects of human lives. Culture is based on material aspect and non-material aspect. Non-material aspect means intellectual, artistic, moral values, or material aspect means physical or technical things or objects, that is called material aspect। So culture is encompasses through material and non-material aspects। Culture is inculcated. Inculcated means learning, capable of learning। Inculcated means capable of learning anything learned from the society, that is passed from generation to generation, that is called acquired। Which is passed from generation to generation, that thing is called acquired। जोटा हमर गोटे जनरेशन रु अन्य जनरेशन को पास हुए, सेटा को कहा जाए acquired habits, that is inculcated। Culture is gratifying। Gratifying means culture always and necessarily satisfies the basic biological and social needs of human beings। Culture ବା ସଂସ୍କୃତି ସବୁବେଳେ ମନୁଷ୍ୟର ବେସିକ୍ ଅର୍ ବାୟୋଲୋଜିକାଲ ନିଡ୍, ଯୋଉଟା ବେସିକ୍ ନିଡ୍ଟା ସେଇଟାକୁ ସାଟିସ୍ଫାଏ କରେ ବା ପୂରଣ କରିଥାଏ। ଆଣ୍ଡ ସୋସିଆଲ ନିଡ୍ସ, ତାପରେ ସାମାଜିକ ନିଡ୍ ଗୁଡାକ, ସାମାଜିକ ଯୋଉ ଦରକାର ଜିନିଷ, ସେଇଟା ମଧ୍ୟ ପୂରଣ କରିଥାଏ। Cultural elements continue so long as they satisfy the needs of humans। Biological needs means food, cloth, shelter, food, cloth, And social needs means socially we behave or we learn ଯାହା କିଛି ଆମେ ସୋସାଇଟିରୁ ଆକ୍ୱାର କରୁଛେ ବା ଶିଖୁଛେ ବା କଥାବାର୍ତ୍ତା କରୁଛେ ବା ୱେୟାରିଂ ଅଫ୍ ଡ୍ରେସେସ୍ ଗୋଟେ ଲାଇଫଷ୍ଟାଇଲ ବା ଡ୍ରେସ୍ ପ୍ୟାଟର୍ନ ଏଗୁଡ଼ା ହେଲା ସୋସିଆଲ ଥିଙ୍ଗ ଫୁଡ କ୍ଲଥ୍ ସେଲ୍ଟର ହେଲା ବାୟୋଲୋଜିକାଲ ଥିଙ୍ଗ ଦେନ୍ କଲଚର ଇଜ ଷ୍ଟ୍ରକ୍ଚର୍ଡ culture has a definite and proper structure this implies that there is definite arrangement of its components and units କଲଚରଟା ଗୋଟେ ନିର୍ଦ୍ଦିଷ୍ଟ ୱେରେ ଆରେଞ୍ଜ ହେଇଥାଏ ମାନେ ନିର୍ଦ୍ଦିଷ୍ଟ ରାସ୍ତାରେ ସେଟା ନିର୍ଦ୍ଦିଷ୍ଟ ଇଏରେ ପ୍ରୋସେସରେ ବା ନିର୍ଦ୍ଦିଷ୍ଟ ଧାରାରେ ତିଆରି ହୋଇଥାଏ ଗଠିତ ହୋଇଥାଏ ଦ ଷ୍ଟ୍ରକ୍ଚରାଲ components of culture are called traits and complexes structural components को कौन कुहाଯାଏ traits ମାନେ ଯୋଉ ବଡ଼ କଲଚରର ଗୋଟେ ଛୋଟିଆ ୟୁନିଟ୍ କୁ କୁହାଯାଏ trait and କେତେଟା କଲଚର ମିଶିଲେ ଯୋଉଟା ବଡ଼ ୟୁନିଟ୍ ତିଆରି ହୁଏ ସେଟାକୁ କୁହାଯାଏ କଲଚର କମ୍ପ୍ଲେକ୍ସ that is called culture complex when many cultures are integrated and constitute a single culture that is called culture complex then culture is patterned means culture is expressed in a certain pattern ମାନେ ଗୋଟେ ନିର୍ଦ୍ଦିଷ୍ଟ ପ୍ୟାଟର୍ନ ବା ଧାରାରେ ତିଆରି ହୋଇଥାଏ କଲଚରଟା first culture pattern is described by Ruth Benedict the parts are interrelated and integrated is called culture pattern then people use culture creatively culture is created the ideal culture real culture any culture that is created culture ଟାକୁ ସୃଷ୍ଟି କରାଯାଏ ସେଟା ଜନ୍ମଗତ ସୃଷ୍ଟି ହୋଇନଥାଏ ବା ଜନ୍ମରୁ ସେଟା ସୃଷ୍ଟି ହୋଇନଥାଏ culture is stable and yet it changes culture is stable means constant but it is dynamic or changes culture stable भी change भी हुए ever changing culture is ever changing means particular trait ମାନେ କିଛିଟା smallest trait ରହିଯାଏ ମାନେ ଯୋଉଟା ତା ସହିତ ନ୍ୟୁ ଧାରା ନୂଆ ଧାରା କିଛି ଆଡ୍ ହୁଏ ସଂସ୍କୃତି ସହିତ ସେଇଟା ହୋଇଯାଏ ଡାଇନାମିକ ବା ଚେଞ୍ଜିଂ ଯୋଉଟା କି ଚେଞ୍ଜ ହୋଇଥାଏ କଲଚର ଇନ୍ ରିଜିଅନ ସବୁ ରିଜିଅନରେ ବା ସବୁ ଅଞ୍ଚଳରେ କଲଚର ଏକ୍ଜିଷ୍ଟ କରେ ଆଉ ବିଭିନ୍ନ ପ୍ରକାର କଲଚର ହେଇଥାଏ culture has a particular region in suppose in the western society or in the European society like tribal society that the culture has a specific boundary or region culture is different in different places ट्राइबाल सोसाइटी बा ट्राइबाल कल्चर केबे हेले अर्बान कल्चर सहित समान नुहे अर्बान सहित वेस्टर्न कल्चर मीन्स यूरोपियन कल्चर is not equal with Indian culture so it is different then culture is universal and specialities culture universals are found in every culture those that distinguish homo sapiens and other species culture has a unique value culture is universe means it exists the universe world रे बा पृथ्वी रे सबुआडे culture देखा जाए so culture appears among human society and culture human species and homo sapiens and human species is a culture binding animal अन्य पशु पाखे देखा जाएनि कल्चर बा संस्कृति देखा जाएनि then culture shock means it can be surprising and disturbing to realize that other cultures do not follow the same way of life. Culture shock can be set up either by the physical items of an unfamiliar culture or by the ways that people act. Sudden, in a particular culture, some traits have been changed, ଗୋଟେ ନିର୍ଦ୍ଦିଷ୍ଟ କଲଚର ବା ସଂସ୍କୃତିରେ କିଛିଟା ଚେଞ୍ଜ ହେଲା। ସପୋଜ ଇନ୍ ଆୱାର ହିନ୍ଦୁ କଲଚର ଦ western pattern dress is used, that is the culture shock, means sudden the culture change, it is called culture shock, or it relates to the maladjustment, means ମାନେ ସଡନ କଲଚରଟା ଚେଞ୍ଜ ହେଲେ ଏଟା ଆଡଜଷ୍ଟ ହବାକୁ ଟାଇମ ଲାଗେ, that is called mal adjustment. Then overtness and covertness of culture. Then overt means easily detectable qualities of a culture, means within a culture, that is called overtness, or outside the culture, culture ବାହାରେ ଯାହା ଘଟେ ତାକୁ କୁହାଯାଏ covertness of culture. Then explicit and implicit. According to Cloughan, explicit means Cloughan said about the explicit and implicit of culture, people's awareness of existence of the cultural items. Implicit implies the people's awareness or unawareness of certain cultural items. The experience of people about the possession of culture is called explicit or implicit. Explicit means outside view of culture. Implicit means inside view of culture. Then ideality and reality. The reality is the actual way of people's behavior. That is reality. Ideality means the culture refers to how people say and how they behave. People's ideas, behaviors are called ideality. But the actual way of living or behavior is called reality. Then ethos and ideas of culture. Ethos and ideas of culture are described by Kroeber. Ethos refers to the effective or emotional quality of a culture, expressed in a series of beliefs, thought, and behavior. Eidos means formal appearance of culture. Formally, we express about culture is called eidos. Formally, ଆମେ ଯାହା କିଛି express କରିବା, that is called eidos of culture. But ethos is the actual or internal behavior, not it formally or informally. Anything counts, जोटा informally count କରାଯାଏ ସବୁ କିଛି quality data, that is called ethos of behavior. Then organic and super organic. Organic and super organic idea is used by Kroeber. Culture is organic in the sense that is ultimately rooted in the biological nature. Culture is organic means it is used in biological sense, means food, cloth, shelter, they are the organic things. Then super culture is super organic. Super organic is over on the organic. Super organic quality, or the quality by virtue of which culture exists on a level above that of individuals who create and carry it. Culture is super organic to the extent that it outlines the particular generation of people. Super organic means प्रति generation रे आमे जहाँ व्यवहार करुचे प्रतिदिन activities रे प्रतिदिनर व्यवहार सेटा कुहाଯାଏ super organic, that is called super organic. In our day to day life is called super organic. Then ethnocentrism and cultural relativism. Ethnocentrism is used by W.J. Sumner, another sociologist. Ethnocentrism coined the term by Sumner and he describes that when one assumes that one's culture and way of life are superior to all others, ଯେତେବେଳେ ନିଜର କଲଚରଟା ଅନ୍ୟ କଲଚର ଠାରୁ ସୁପିରିୟର ବୋଲି ଜଣେ ଭାବିଦବ, that is called ethnocentrism. Ethnocentrism means superior of culture from another culture. Then relativism. Relativism means culture is related to various another cultures. One single culture is related to various cultures or spread with other cultures. That is called cultural relativism. Then culture and society. Then culture and society. Culture is the sum total of learned, shared, and socially transmitted behavior that included ideas, values, and customs of groups of people. Culture is the sum total of learned and shared and socially transmitted. Culture ହେଲା କ'ଣ ସଂସ୍କୃତିଟା ଆମର ଲର୍ନ କରାଯାଏ ଦେନ୍ ସେୟାର କରାଯାଏ means it transferred from one generation to another generation and socially transmitted behavior. ଏଇଟା ସୋସିଆଲି ସାମାଜିକ ଭାବେ ସମାଜରେ ହିଁ ଯେଉଁ ଆମେ ବ୍ୟବହାର ଆଣ୍ଡ ଆମର ଜ୍ଞାନ ଦେନ୍ ଆୱାର ଆଇଡ଼ିଆସ୍ ଜ୍ଞାନ ତାପରେ ଭ୍ୟାଲୁଜ୍ ଏଗୁଡ଼ାକ ସବୁ ଟ୍ରାନ୍ସମିଟ୍ ହୁଏ ଫ୍ରମ୍ ୱାନ୍ ଜେନେରେସନ୍ ଟୁ ଆନାଦର ଜେନେରେସନ୍. Then the second unit is social group. Then we go to the second unit, social groups. Mainly social group provides two types of group. First is primary group, then secondary group. Any doubts in the first unit, you will ask me in the next class. Then social group provides primary group and secondary group. Primary group are those groups in which a small number of persons come into direct contact with one another. Primary group means basic group. जो ଆମର ଦୁଇଟା ଗ୍ରୁପ ବା ଦୁଇଟା ଦଳ ଥାଏ ଯୋଉଟା ହେଲା ବେସିକ ମାନେ ମୁଖ୍ୟ ଦଳ ତାପରେ ହେଲା ସେକେଣ୍ଡାରୀ ବା ଗୌଣ ଦଳ ମାନେ ପ୍ରାଇମେରୀରୁ ଯୋଉଟା ରିଲେଟ୍ କରାଯାଏ ସେଟା ହେଲା ସେକେଣ୍ଡାରୀ ବା ଗୌଣ ଦଳ କିନ୍ତୁ ପ୍ରାଇମେରୀ ଗ୍ରୁପରେ କ'ଣ କରାଯାଏ it is basically in the primary group there is a sense of mutual cooperation, companionship and sharing of personal feelings are counted in the primary group. Primary group is based on mutual cooperation, companionship and sharing of personal feelings. They are small groups and every person necessarily belongs to any of the primary groups. Primary group रे केतेटा छोटो छोटो group थाए. They are small groups and every person necessarily belongs to any of the primary groups. Then C.H. Kulle in 1909 in his book Social Organization, that is Human Nature and Social Order, he describes about primary groups. The primary groups is observed by intimate and close social relations among the members of certain small groups and term those groups as in primary groups. केतेटा small group जोठी हमरो basically relation टाको count करा जाए, that is called primary group. ମାନେ ରିଲେସନଟା ପ୍ରାଥମିକ ଭାବେ ଏକ୍ଜିଷ୍ଟ କରାଯାଏ in the primary group रे relation टाको count करा जाए. Primary things are counted, that is emotional development or involvement, cooperation, face to face interaction, that is called primary group. Primary group is based on the intimate informal interactions. The characteristics of primary group is face to face contact, face to face association and cooperation. They are primary in several senses, but chiefly the individualities in a common whole, so that one's very self for many purposes. The common life and purpose of the group is called primary thinking. In the primary group, first we use we. जोटा कि आम्भे माने माने आम मानकर आइडिया वैल्यू जोटा आमे जानिबा हमर रिलेशन माने टोटल पर्टिकुलर ग्रुप रे पूरा होल ग्रुप रे माने आमे माने कोठी दैट इज कॉल्ड प्राइमरी ग्रुप माने बेसिक थिंग. In Kulle considers family, playmates of children, neighborhood and community groups and groups of elders as primary group. Family is the primary group because family is the basic and primary group. Everything we learn from the family. ଆମେ ପରିବାରରୁ ହିଁ ଫାଷ୍ଟ ସବୁ କିଛି ଶିକ୍ଷା କରୁ. So that is the primary group. ତାପରେ ଆମେ ଯାଉ ମାନେ ସ୍କୁଲକୁ ଯାଉ କଲେଜକୁ ଯାଉ, ତେଣୁ ସେଗୁଡ଼ା ହେଲା ସେକେଣ୍ଡାରୀ ଗ୍ରୁପ. ଫାଷ୍ଟ ପରିବାରରେ ଆମେ ଜନ୍ମ ହେଇକି ଶିକ୍ଷା କଲା ପରେ ତାପରେ ଯାଇକି ଆମେ ଯିବା କୋଉଠିକି ମାନେ ସେକେଣ୍ଡାରୀ ଯୋଉ କଲେଜ, ତାପରେ ସ୍କୁଲ କଲେଜ, ତାପରେ ଯାହା ଇକୋନୋମିକ ସେକ୍ଟର ଯେତେବେଳେ କିଛି ଇନକମ୍ କରିବା ପାଇଁ ସେଗୁଡ଼ା ହେଲା ସେକେଣ୍ଡାରୀ ଗ୍ରୁପ. ଦେନ୍ ଫ୍ୟାମିଲି ଇଜ ଦ ପ୍ରାଇମେରୀ ଗ୍ରୁପ. Then characteristics, the main essential conditions of primary group is close face to face proximity, means close relationship. Then second is smallness of the group. Primary group is small, बहुत छोट होइथाय primary group. Then durability of the bond. Primary group exists for a long period. बहुत दिन पर्यंत यह लास्टिंग करता है. हमर फैमिली कौन इवन डेथ पर्यंत फैमिली कंटिन्यू करता है. दैट इज कॉल्ड प्राइमरी ग्रुप. सो primary group is the based on family. Then characteristics of primary group. Characteristic is external characters. First point is external characters. Then second point is internal characters. External characters are physical proximity among group members. ଆମର ଗ୍ରୁପ ବା ଦଳ ଭିତରେ ମେମ୍ବର ମାନଙ୍କର ଫିଜିକାଲ ପ୍ରକ୍ସିମିଟି ମିନ୍ସ ଫିଜିକାଲି ଯିଏ ଯାହାକୁ ହେଲ୍ପ କରେ. ଏନି ପିପୁଲ ଜଣେ ପର୍ସନ ଆଉ ଜଣେ ପର୍ସନ କୁ ହେଲ୍ପ କରେ. that is physical proximity among group members. Small size of the group, ଏବେ ଯୋଉଟା which I already discussed. Small size of the group, stability and durability, then continuity in the relations. Then internal characters. Internal characters are common objectives of the group. Then the relations are ends in themselves. Relationships are spontaneous. Common objective means in particular objective or purpose of the group is internal character. Then the relationships are spontaneous means in mm, in all of her days or all of her anything, any relation exist in all days in the human life, that is called spontaneous relations. Then personal relationship or personally contacted with one another. One person is contacted with one another, that is called personal relationships. Then control over the members. And another point is in the primary group, mm, in the small group, primary group is the small group. In that group, there is the controlness over the members is seen. କଣ୍ଟ୍ରୋଲନେସ୍ ବା ସମସ୍ତେ ଗୋଟେ ନିର୍ଦ୍ଦିଷ୍ଟ ୱେରେ ଥାନ୍ତି ବା କଣ୍ଟ୍ରୋଲ ଥାଏ ସମ ମେମ୍ବର ମାନଙ୍କ ଉପରେ। Importance of a primary group. What are the importance? We'll discuss. Helps in development of personality. Primary group helps for the development of personality. ଆମର ଡେଲି ଲାଇଫରେ ପର୍ସନାଲିଟିଟା ଡେଭଲପ କରିବା ପାଇଁ ପ୍ରାଇମେରୀ ଗ୍ରୁପ ହେଲ୍ପ କରିଥାଏ। ଇନକ୍ରିଜେସ୍ ଦ ଏଫିସିଏନ୍ସି ଅଫ୍ ଆନ୍ ଇଣ୍ଡିଭିଜୁଆଲ। ପ୍ରତି ଇଣ୍ଡିଭିଜୁଆଲ ମାନଙ୍କର ଏଫିସିଏନ୍ସି ଅର୍ କ୍ୟାପାବିଲିଟି ଇନକ୍ରିଜ କରିବା ପାଇଁ ପ୍ରାଇମେରୀ ଗ୍ରୁପ ହେଲ୍ପ କରେ। ଫୁଲଫିଲ୍ସ ଦ ସାଇକୋଲୋଜିକାଲ fulfills the psychological needs. Then psychological କଟିଗଲା ବୋଧେ। ଠିକ ଅଛି ଠିକ ଅଛି। ସେ ଲେଖିଲା ତ ୟୁ ଆର୍ ଦ ଓନ୍ଲି ୱାନ୍ ହିୟର, ମୁଁ ସେଥିଲାଗି ହଁ ଠିକ ଅଛି। Then, excuse me, sorry. Then we discuss about secondary group. Secondary group. The secondary group is based on the formal, impersonal, then segmental and utilitarian. These groups are less intimate as the level of interaction is restricted at a formal level. In secondary group, the formal impersonal relationship exists. They do not give close identity. Any close contact or face to face contact is not seen in the secondary group. Secondary group रे कौनसी face to face contact न थाए. So McIver and Pace has pointed out primary group that the relations are the characteristics of simple or primitive societies. As the population and territory of society increases, interest would have become diversified. First, simple society ଉପରେ McIver and Pace ତାଙ୍କର view ଦେଇଥିଲେ. Then automatically in the group or the development of the group in day to day, then it is diversified. Means group ଟା ଯେତେବେଳେ various various parts ହେଇଗଲା, that is called secondary group or formal appearance. Then Ogborn and Nimkov say that the groups which provide experience lacking in intimacy can be called a secondary group. The groups which provide experience lacking in intimacy, ଯେତେବେଳେ intimacy ନଥାଏ, intimate ଜଣେ ଜଣଙ୍କ ସହିତ ହୋଇପାରେ ନାହିଁ, that is called secondary group. So the characteristics of secondary group is dominance of secondary relations. Secondary group relations can be seen in reference to primary relations. Dominance of secondary relations. Secondary relation means indirect or informal formal relation exist. Due to self-interest, individuality develops among the members. ଇଣ୍ଡିଭିଜୁଆଲଟା ଡେଭଲପ୍ କରେ ସେଲ୍ଫ ଇଣ୍ଟରେଷ୍ଟ ଯୋଗୁଁ ଏଇଟା ସେକେଣ୍ଡାରୀ ଗ୍ରୁପରେ ଇଣ୍ଡିଭିଜୁଆଲିଟି ଡେଭଲପ୍ କରେ. ଦେନ୍ ଭଲ୍ୟୁଣ୍ଟାରୀ ମେମ୍ବରସିପ୍. ଭଲ୍ୟୁଣ୍ଟାରୀ ମିନ୍ସ ଯୋଉଟା ହେଲା ଲିଡରସିପ୍ କ୍ୱାଲିଟି, ସେଇଟା କୋଉଠି ଡେଭଲପ୍ କରେ ନା ସେକେଣ୍ଡାରୀ ଗ୍ରୁପ୍ସରେ. In secondary group, membership becomes compulsory. Then large in size. Unlike a primary group, physical proximity is not the condition for secondary group, and so size of a secondary group becomes large. ଯେତେବେଳେ large group ହେଇଯାଏ ସେଇଟାକୁ କୁହାଯାଏ secondary group. The secondary group is a larger group. They might spread all over the world. Secondary group টা all over the world সারা দেখাଯାଏ. Then goal oriented. Secondary group is goal oriented. Any goal or objectives are fulfilled in the secondary group. Then indirect communication. Indirect communication means anything. Suppose in the field work we collect the data. ଆମେ ଯୋଉ field work ଯାଉଛେ data collect କରୁଛେ ସେମାନଙ୍କଠୁ personal relationship. But any other things, any other data which are collected from the website or materials, that is called secondary group or secondary thing. Or indirect communication. Role decides a person's position. In secondary group, position of a person depends upon his role, socially achieved status, and its corresponding role remains the key factor behind the position of a person. Socially achieved status means ଯୋଉଟା socially ବା ସାମାଜିକ ଭାବେ status ଟା achieved ହୋଇଥାଏ. Socially achieved status and the role is counted from the persons in the secondary group. Then community. A community is called a collection of people with residential ties to particular locality. From a particular locality, when the people are collected and constitute a group, ଯେତେବେଳେ ଗୋଟେ ପର୍ଟିକୁଲାର ଏରିଆରେ କେତେ ଜଣ ପିପୁଲ କନଷ୍ଟିଚ୍ୟୁଟ ହେଇକି ଗୋଟେ ଗ୍ରୁପ ତିଆରି କରନ୍ତି, that is called community. The word community is comprised two Latin words, that is com and munis. In English, com means together and munis means to serve. To serve together is called community. According to McIver and Page, he is another social anthropologist. He said that community is a group of people who live together, who belong together. Community is a group of people who live together. जोठी हम एकत्र बास करू गोटे निर्दिष्ट एरिया रे, that is called community. Who belong together so that they share not ties or that particular interest, or it is based on particular interest. Then characteristics of a community. Define definitive geographical area, then we feeling, then common culture, then close relationships, then completeness of life, then permanent nature, not a legal body, that is called community. Suppose the definite area when we live together, that is called community. ଗୋଟେ ନିର୍ଦ୍ଦିଷ୍ଟ ଏରିଆରେ ଯେତେବେଳେ ଆମେ ଏକତ୍ର ବାସ କରୁ, we serve for various peoples, that is called community. The next thing is we feeling. Suppose in a particular area or community, the feelingness comes, that we feeling, that is called we feeling behavior or community feeling. We help the persons of particular community. Then common culture. Community exists the common culture. In a particular community, the culture is same and life pattern is same. Then the close relationship created by the community members and completeness of life. Community covers all the aspects of life. Community helps in the socialization and also helps in developing the community. Community helps to develop the socialization. Community टा गोटे community help करे और socialization सामाजिकीकरण टाको वृद्धि करिया पई help करिथाय. Then permanent nature. Community existed in every time, that is called permanent nature, not a legal body. Community is not a legal body, or legally it is not expressed. Then association. In our day to day life, anything, in any way, in any particular way we behave, or mm, or we give attention about the group, that is called association. Association represents a group for the fulfillment of common needs. Association means group. First association माने आमे जानिबा गोटे group which works for the fulfillment of common needs. आमर जहा किछि common need थाए, साधारण आवश्यकता, सेटा fulfill करे. Then human beings can fulfill their needs through three ways. One is independently, then other is conflict with one another, and third is cooperative. These three things are included under association. Then characteristics of association. Association requires at least two individuals. It is considered as a concrete form of a group. Association is a formal group. Suppose political association. Political association means various parties. Suppose BJP party, BJD party. They are the formal groups or formal and concrete group. Then association has its own aims and objectives. They provide the particular objectives. Association is always a result of deliberate action. Some actions are operated in the association. The memberships remains voluntary. Members can join the association. One member may left the group or association and other may join. That is called association. There are certain rules and principles are provided under a association, which rules are followed by the memberships of association. Then organization. Organization is two types, that is formal and informal organization. Organization are principally formed in order to attain certain goals. Organization ଆମର ଅର୍ଗାନାଇଜେସନଟା ଗଠନ କରାଯାଇଥାଏ ଫର୍ ଫୁଲଫିଲ୍ ସଟନ୍ ଗୋଲ୍ସ, କିଛି ଲକ୍ଷ୍ୟ ପୂରଣ ପାଇଁ ଅର୍ଗାନାଇଜେସନ ଆମର ଗଠନ କରାଯାଇଥାଏ. They emerge when explicit procedures are established to coordinate the activities of a group. When explicit procedures means outside procedures or knowledges or processes are established to coordinate the activities of a group. ଗ୍ରୁପର କିଛି କାର୍ଯ୍ୟ ପାଇଁ ଯେତେବେଳେ ଆଉଟସାଇଡ୍ ନଲେଜ କ୍ରିଏଟ୍ କରାଯାଏ, ଆଉଟସାଇଡ୍ ନଲେଜର ହେଲ୍ପ ନିଆଯାଏ, ଦ୍ୟାଟ୍ ଇଜ୍ କଲ୍ଡ ଅର୍ଗାନାଇଜେସନ. The collective effort of the members of the group is called formally organized group or formal organization. Then characteristics of formal organization is enduring unless deliberately altered. Then static. Deliberately altered means ସବୁବେଳେ organization ର changing होଥାଏ. Changing process is always occurred in the organization. Then static. Organization is static, means constant. Then very specified written rules. Organization is written upon some specific rules. Specific rule kichi thai organization ro, that is followed. Then hierarchical. Hierarchical means different strata. Different strata means various peoples are enjoyed various qualities of life. Suppose higher status maintain higher status, or people with higher status maintain the higher standard, and then middle class maintain middle standard. They are the hierarchical order, means in a position, according to position wise it is arranged. Then the characteristics of informal organization. Informal organization is based on dynamic process, means changing, and rules are not specified. ଏଥିରେ କିଛି ରୁଲ୍ ନଥାଏ, ରିଟିନ୍ ରୁଲ୍ କିଛି ନଥାଏ. Treat people as individuals. ପିପୁଲ ମାନଙ୍କୁ ପ୍ରତି ଇଣ୍ଡିଭିଜୁଆଲ ମାନଙ୍କୁ ଟ୍ରିଟ୍ କରାଯାଏ, ଲକ୍ଷ୍ୟ ପୂରଣ କରିବା ପାଇଁ ହେଲ୍ପ ନିଆଯାଏ. ଦେନ୍ no hierarchical relations. ଏଥିରେ କିଛି ସ୍ଟ୍ରାଟା ବା ହାୟର ପୋଜିସନ, ମିଡିଲ ପୋଜିସନ, ଲୋୟର ପୋଜିସନ କିଛି ନଥାଏ. Then we go to the third unit. Any doubt? You can ask. Then unit 3 is social identity and movements. What is identity? First we discuss about what is identity. Identity means I am, we are, he is, they are. These things are identity. Means some specific designation. Then society, self, and identity. The issues of self, and identity are frequently used in the symbolic interactionist theories. Self reflects society. Selfness is important in the case of identity. Society shapes self, which shapes social behaviors, that is used by Mead, Kulle, and Blummer. So, society is important for expressing the selfness. Society is give society give importance upon the selfness for using for expressing the identity. Self must be multifaceted. Then culture and identity. Culture means culture is universal. So culture has the identity, and culture also exists the specific construction or specific behavior. Then cultural identity is not an essence but a continually shifting description of us. Cultural identity is a shifting description, means changing description. Cult- Culture and identity is based on class, gender, race, age, etc. Then the weaving of the patterns of identity from the discourses of class, race, gender, etc. It is also described by the people. Then identity, self recognition, and meaning. Self recognition means self perception of the actor plays a crucial role. Means suppose self means to him one uses the selfness, means identity is also used. There is a symbolic, suppose ଜଣେ ନିଜର selfness ଟା ୟୁଜ କଲା importance ଦେଲା, that is called identity. There is a symbolic interaction. Suppose one communicate with another person, that is called the symbolic expression. That is also included under identity or self recognition, means self identity. Suppose your name is that you are reading in PG class in university, that is the self identity or self recognition. Then identity and regions. The problematic aspects of identity, Amartya Sen said that the sense of community and fellowship relates closely to the idea of social identity. According to Sen, there are strong influences of the community and of the people with whom we identify and associate. The strong influences of the community is we identify and associated that we are the dash people in the society. We are the middle class people. That is the identity and regions. For example, a shift from the holistic to sectarian identities may be product of unquestioning acceptance. This on-region identity shift may lead to devastating effects like um, Rwanda or Yugoslavia. That is the identity of the people. Suppose the agenda community is the tribal community in the world. The identity of that tribe have the some regimes and some choices. Then transformation of identity. Identity is transferred from one people to or one generation to another generation. In identity helps for transformation of new collective ideas from one generation to another generation, transforming Siri into groups and fusion. That is the example. Suppose class in itself to class for itself, that is the collective ideas. Then identity and domination. Longman in 2010 said that due to the globalization, there is often a migration from the political, economic to cultural collective identity and emotional realms. Means, what is the meaning of these ideas that we discuss about that thing? That is due to globalization. ଯେତେବେଳେ globalization ହେଲା, there is often a migration of political, economic to cultural. Political, economic group ଟା migrate ହେଇକି cultural group କୁ cultural identity କୁ ପଳେଇଲା. That is based on emotional realms or emotional relations. That is called domination. The dominant group exists himself for the identity. Customary identities regarding work, gender orientation, religion, etc. Then identity, power, and changing society. Identity and power is described in the famous work The Information Age, Economy, Society, and Culture. The power of identity elaborates the process of emergence of identity. That is the name of the book. Identity is linked to the societal arrangement. Each of the societies are based on primitive, agrarian, industrial, post industrial, etc. So, the various types of society which are changing, simple society and also complex society, various types of societies have different identities according to the power. Power ଅନୁସାରେ different society ର different identity ଥାଏ. There are various types of identity in the society. Legitimizing identity. Legitimizing means legally introduces according to the social order. Then resistance identity means generated by those actors that are positions or conditions are calculated or conditions positions are modified. Then project identity, when social actors on the basis of whatever cultural materials available to them build a new identity that redefines their positioning in society. Seek the transformation of the whole structure. Project identity based upon the whole structure of society. The project identities that challenge the hegemony of the dominant class. Project identities give the importance of dominant class society or capitalist economic society have the greater importance in the project identity. Then identity in networked society. The dynamics of identity is central to the network society and herein accepts the self identity within the interplay of local and global things. In the local and global conditions, self identity is important. Giddens, who is the social anthropologist, gave his view on self identity. Self identity is not a distinctive trait possessed by the individual, it is a reflexively phenomena. Means reflective, जोटा जाए सेटा पुनी फेरी थाए आइडेंटिटी माने otherwise designated. Then social movements, collective actions, new identity and social movements. There are various movements seen in the society. Movements means for movements means the action which is connecting a process of formation for an identity. Movements means presenting a process of formation for identity is called movement. Then from 1960, the economic determinism and newness were the major thrust to study the social movements. Social movements is after the World War II. After World War II, especially in 1960, many people, including the new forms of collective actions. After World War II, there are new forms or new thought, new patterns are discovered that is called cultural movement. Culture is moved in a new social position that is called cultural movement. Then bureaucrats are give the idea about subjectivity, idealism. They are the things of movements or the patterns of cultural movements. Then culture is adapted in a new form or new social form. In the world of cultural interactivity and co-construction, social movement provides public spaces for generating new thoughts and activating new actors. Then we'll discuss about the multiple collective identities in India. In India, how identities are expressed in a social social and cultural forms. There are various NGOs and panchayati raj. They are mm, influencing by different norms. So that is called multiple collective identities. For example, Telangana movement of Andhra Pradesh. In Telangana region, the mm, peasants are started their movement in 1948 to 1952. That is called the collective identities in India. Then another war group is People's War Group, that is CPI or APCLC, Andhra Pradesh Civil Liberties Committee. Then mm, the tribal movement, a militant organization of the scheduled tribes, started a movement that is Thudum Deba tribes. Thudum Deba tribes started a movement that is the example of multiple collective identities. ସେମାନେ ନିଜର ଆଇଡେଣ୍ଟିଟି ଏକ୍ସପ୍ରେସ୍ କରିବା ପାଇଁ କିଛିଟା ମୁଭମେଣ୍ଟ ଅର୍ ହରତାଳ ଷ୍ଟାର୍ଟ କରୁଥିଲେ. That is called the collective identities. Those are seen in India among the tribal society or peasant society or any other low caste society started the movements. Then third unit is finished. Then fourth unit we will started social change in Indian context. What is the social change in Indian context? Any doubt you will ask me. Then social change in Indian context. First is the British colonial rule had a profound impact on Indian society. In very fast Indian society, our Bharat Samaj British rule द्वारा ଶାସିତ ହୋଇଥିଲା. Then after some period due to the globalization, there are social changes are takes place in India. First is the colonial rule and its impact. Colonial rule, which was started from British rule. British rule, Christian missionary and English education played a very important role in changing the face of Indian society. First, Britishers and the Christian missionaries tried to convert the Hindu people towards Christian religion. So, the colonial rules were started in that time. K.M. Panikkar points out that the most important achievement of British colonial rule was the unification of India. Panikkar first studied the British colonial rule. Then Hinduization and Sanskritization. Hinduization is one type, Sanskritization is one type of changes of lifestyle and changes of caste is the example of Hinduization. The process of Hinduization has been all pervasive within the domain of Indian civilization. In the context of tribal population, Gure, G.S. Gure, studied that backward Hindus, the tribal population, are claimed as backward Hindus. In, in nowadays, the tribal peoples are claimed that we are the Hindus or we are performing the customs and traditions of Hindus and we adopt the custom, tradition and lifestyle of Hindus. So the people are also called the Hindus. They are claimed. So G.S. Gure written the tribal population as backward Hindus. Then N.K. Bose and Surjit Sinha describes the phenomena that Hinduization with more academic importance. They describe about culture contact or acculturation. Due to the process of acculturation or the process of culture change, one culture is changed towards the influence towards the according to the influence of another culture. That is called acculturation. When tribal people are changed towards the changed according to the customs of Hindu people, they claimed we are practiced the Hindu customs and traditions. So we are also Hindus. And on the basis of the Bhumij, Munda, Gond tribe, and other tribes of central India, are identified the Bhumij to move away from tribal base and they uh, they maintained a Kshatriya status. They are claimed we are Kshatriyas. Then Sanskritization. Sanskritization means, broadly speaking, the individual or family mobility approach in India. It is based on individual or family mobility approach, then corporate or group mobility approach, comparative approach, reference group approach. Sanskritization is based on various approaches. Individual or family changes approach. Individual বা family change ହେଇଥାଏ এই approachରେ. Then corporate or group mobility approach. Group change ହେଇଥାଏ. Then comparative approach. Comparative approach means the comparison comparison is changed. Then reference group approach means refer to other societies. Then M.N. Srinivas, another Indian anthropologist, said about the religion and society among the Kurus of South India. South Indiaର କୁରୁ ଉପରେ M.N. Srinivas କହିଛନ୍ତି. They are the Kurus are claimed that the process of Sanskritization or Sanskritization is the process by which a low caste or tribe or other groups takes over the customs, ritual, beliefs, ideology, and lifestyle of a higher caste. Sanskritization means a low caste people try to follow the customs, tradition, ritual, belief of higher caste people of twice born or Dijo caste means Brahmin caste. Kurus are followed the custom and tradition of Brahmin caste or Dijo caste, and they are also Sanskritized like the Brahmin or higher caste peoples. That is called Sanskritization, and also it is called Brahminization. Then Srinivas has further explained Srinivas is the important author of Sanskritization. Sanskritization is the important question. Srinivas has further explained that political and economic factors have also affected the process of Sanskritization. With the establishment of British rule in India, the lower caste got more opportunities to Sanskritize themselves. At the time of British rule in India, the lower caste peoples are Sanskritized and subsequently adopted the social status of new rulers or new political order by the changing of caste hierarchy. Then Srinivas 1992 talks the festivals of village deities, Harikatha, Harikatha, Gyan, then Jagaran, etc. are the religious figures of the examples of Sanskritization, which is also called as Brahminization. Social mobility may be observed empirically among the non-Hindu communities. Social observation is empirically. Empirically means really observed among the tribals. Then westernization and modernization. Westernization means after the impact of British rule, the peoples are changed towards the western activities and life patterns are changed towards the western activities is called westernization. So westernization is described that the changes brought about in Indian society and culture as a result of over 150 years of British rule. After the 150 years of British rule, the Sanskritization, sorry, the westernization is changed that the changes in the Indian society. Changes means everything changes. The changes in the lifestyles, patterns, ways of thinking, ways of behaving, anything changes, any idea, values are changed by the development of technology, institutions, etc. So, westernization is also described by Srinivas in 1972. He prefers to call this process westernization and not modernization. This process, the impact of Western people is called the impact of Western people over the Hindu or over the Indian people or over the Indian society is called westernization. But latterly, what in 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 the case of new idea, modernization is used by MN Srinivas. Then modernization is used by MN Srinivas in the modern sense. Modernization is followed the various countries like South America, Asia, Africa during the 19th and 20th century. S.C. Dubé in 1988 describes that an attractive feature of the concept was that the cultural sensitivities are changes due to the modernization. Modernization is also a much less value loaded than westernization. Then globalization. Globalization means it is based on multicultural system or multiculturalism. There are various cultures are included under globalization. When various cultures are integrated and create a complex society or complex system, that is called globalization. Suppose the integration in a particular area, there are various peoples such as Western people and also the simple, suppose Hindu people or tribal people, simple tribal people are presented in a particular place, and they are modified according to the mm, higher complex culture, Western culture, according to the Western culture. That is called globalization. In globally, it is modified. Globally, it is modified as plural or diverse things. Multiculturalism is present in the diversities of areas. Globalization is also the superior than modernization. In the 20th century, globalization has emerged as the most important phenomena in the present age. Social, economic, and political dimensions are changed due to the globalization. In the dictionary of sociology, globalization is analyzed as a process in which social life within societies is being increasingly affected by international influences based on everything from political and trade ties to shared music. A process in which social life within societies is being increasingly affected. In the social life, societies are affected by international influences, by the impact of foreign or international influences, by the clothing styles or mass media or music, that is called modernization. When tribal people also change their lifestyle or drinking habit or fooding habit according to the changes of modern people or modern caste people, that is called globalization. Anything changed is called globalization. So, it is summatically Indian society has been changing even before the advent of British rule. British rule released such new forces of change. So, after the after the arising of British rule, the new process of change is new process of change is modified among the people in a faster sense, in fast and very fast. That is also related to the cultural and technological innovation. That is called modernization, and the process of social mobility in Indian society is understood by Sanskritization and Westernization. Sanskritization is mainly based on caste system. Then globalization and multiculturalism are comparatively the new ideas in Indian society in a variety of ways. Globalization is based on various segments of Indian society, such as the power power of women and the mm, tribal importance of tribal communities. These are the factors of globalization. So, thank you. Then, any doubts you will ask me in the next class? Soumya.